Chosen one, slow down for just a moment and let your spirit catch up with your body. Because what you are hearing right now is not random, not background noise, and not something you simply stumbled upon while scrolling. There are moments in life when time itself seems to bend, when something inside you quietly says, "Pay attention," even if you can't explain why. This is one of those moments. Long before this day arrived, long before you felt the strange tension building in your chest, this exact encounter was already written into your path. Not to scare you, not to burden you, but to protect you. You may have noticed that lately, your mind has been busy, but your soul has been uneasy. Things that once felt clear now feel slightly distorted. Conversations leave you drained instead of encouraged. Opportunities appear suddenly, shining brightly, asking for quick decisions, quick trust, quick commitment. And yet, after the excitement fades, a subtle discomfort remains. That discomfort is not weakness. It is awareness. It is discernment rising to the surface after a long season of being quiet. Understand this deeply. The most dangerous traps are rarely obvious. They do not announce themselves with alarms or threats. They arrive wrapped in familiarity, kindness, charm, or convenience. They sound reasonable. They feel comfortable at first. They often come through people or situations that seem aligned with your desires. But alignment without peace is never divine. You are not imagining the shift you feel. Something around you is asking for access. Access to your time, your energy, your trust, your emotional space, or your future decisions. And while it may appear harmless on the surface, heaven is urging you to slow down before you step any closer. When God wants to protect you, He does not always remove the situation immediately. Sometimes He sharpens your perception so you can see clearly and choose wisely. There is a reason you have felt prompted to pause lately, even when logic told you to move forward. A reason you felt resistance when others seemed enthusiastic. A reason your spirit hesitated while your mind tried to justify. Divine guidance often feels like restraint before it feels like direction. You see, deception does not rush because it is strong. It rushes because time reveals truth. Pressure is often a sign that something cannot withstand patience. When something is truly meant for you, it does not need to hurry you into agreement. It can wait. It will remain steady. It will feel grounded. Some of the tension you've been carrying is not yours to hold. You have a heart that naturally gives, listens, understands, and hopes for the best in others. That is a gift. But every gift requires boundaries to remain healthy. Without discernment, generosity becomes vulnerability, and not everyone who approaches your kindness intends to honor it. This is why certain connections feel unbalanced. You find yourself explaining more than listening, giving more than receiving, adjusting more than resting. At first, you told yourself this was compassion. But compassion without mutual respect slowly becomes self-neglect. And heaven will not allow you to keep shrinking in the name of love. You are entering a season where subtle signs matter. Not dramatic events, but repeated patterns. The way someone reacts when you say no. The shift in tone when you set a boundary. The urgency that appears when you choose to wait. These small moments speak louder than grand promises. Pay attention to what happens when you stop overgiving. Watch how people respond when you stop overextending. Some will understand, some will respect it, and some will reveal intentions that were never pure to begin with. That revelation is not punishment, it is protection. It is important for you to know that not every separation is loss. Some are rescue. Some people exit your life not because you failed them, but because they could no longer access what they came for. Silence, distance, and even confusion can be tools God uses to remove you from environments that would eventually drain your purpose. You may feel tempted to chase clarity, to demand explanations, to reopen conversations that heaven quietly closed. Resist that urge. What is truly aligned does not need to be chased. What is not aligned will only confuse you further if you pursue it. Peace is your confirmation now, not answers. There is a difference between love and attachment. Love expands you. Attachment traps you in fear of losing. Anything that makes you feel anxious about being yourself, about slowing down, about listening to your intuition, is not rooted in love. It is rooted in control, insecurity, or hidden expectation. You are not meant to carry emotional weight that leaves you depleted. You were not created to constantly prove your worth, loyalty, or goodness. Those who walk with you in truth will not demand access to every part of you. They will honor your pace, your silence, and your boundaries. Right now, heaven is training you to listen beyond words, to notice how your body feels in certain environments, to observe how your spirit reacts after certain interactions. Discernment is not suspicion, it is sensitivity. It is learning to trust the quiet intelligence God placed within you. You do not need to confront every situation. You do not need to expose every hidden motive. Time and stillness will do that work for you. When you stop reacting emotionally, manipulation loses power. When you stop explaining yourself, confusion clears. There may be moments ahead when you feel alone, when your circle feels smaller, when familiar voices fade. Do not interpret that as failure. Growth often requires space. Clarity often requires distance. God sometimes removes noise so you can hear Him clearly again. What you avoided by listening to this inner warning may never be fully visible to you. You may never see the full extent of what could have gone wrong. But trust that the protection was real. Trust that the pause saved you from emotional exhaustion, spiritual distraction, or delayed purpose. As you move forward, simplify your yes and your no. Not everything requires an explanation. Not every invitation deserves your presence. Not every opportunity is meant to be accepted. You are allowed to choose what protects your peace. Notice how your energy shifts when certain people or situations step away. If your mind feels clearer, your rest improves, your joy slowly returns. That is confirmation. That is alignment being restored. This season is not about isolation. It is about refinement. It is about learning the strength of stillness, the wisdom of waiting, the courage to trust what you feel even when you cannot yet explain it. You are not being led by fear. You are being led by awareness. And awareness is a gift that grows sharper the more you honor it. Stay present. Stay grounded. Stay honest with yourself. What is meant for you will come with peace, clarity, and consistency. What is not will eventually reveal itself through pressure, imbalance, and unrest. This moment is the beginning of that clarity, not the end. What comes next will unfold gently, step by step. As you continue to choose wisdom over impulse, peace over pressure, and truth over illusion. And as you remain still enough to listen, you will realize that heaven has been guarding your path far longer than you ever knew. Heaven has been guarding your path far longer than you ever knew. Even in moments when you thought you were walking alone, even in seasons when silence felt like abandonment. What you didn't realize then is that silence was space, and space was safety. There are times when God protects you not by pulling you forward, but by holding you back, by slowing your steps just enough so that what is not meant for you passes by without attaching itself to your life. You may remember moments when something didn't work out and you felt disappointed, even embarrassed, wondering why it fell apart when you tried so hard to make it work. At the time, it felt like delay. But now you are beginning to see it differently. That delay was a shield. That closed door was mercy. Because had you stepped fully into that situation, relationship, or agreement, the cost would have been far greater than you could have imagined. One of the hardest lessons discernment teaches is this: not everyone who walks beside you is walking with you. Some walk close only to observe. Some stay near to benefit from your light without ever intending to protect it. They study your patterns, your kindness, your patience, your desire to believe the best, and they learn how to move within your blind spots. This is why heaven sharpens your awareness in seasons like this, not to make you suspicious, but to make you awake, to help you recognize when something feels draining instead of nourishing, heavy instead of uplifting, rushed instead of peaceful. You are not meant to live on edge, but you are meant to live aware. Notice how manipulation often hides behind emotion. It uses guilt to make you feel responsible. It uses urgency to silence your intuition. It uses affection to bypass your boundaries. But genuine connection never requires you to abandon yourself. Real alignment does not demand that you ignore your inner warning system. There is a reason you have felt pulled inward lately. A reason you've wanted more quiet, more space, fewer explanations. That is not withdrawal. That is recalibration. God is resetting your internal compass so you no longer move based on pressure, expectation, or fear of disappointing others. In the past, you may have overridden your intuition because you didn't want to seem difficult, cold, or ungrateful. You told yourself it was easier to say yes, easier to go along, easier to keep the peace. But peace that requires self-betrayal is not peace at all. It is a slow erosion of your spirit. This season is teaching you that saying no can be an act of obedience, that stepping back can be an act of faith, that silence can be louder than confrontation. You are learning that you do not owe access to everyone who asks for it. Pay attention to how people respond when you stop over-explaining, when you stop justifying your choices, when you stop filling the silence with reassurance. Those who respect you will remain steady. Those who relied on confusion, control, or emotional leverage will become uncomfortable, and in that discomfort, truth reveals itself. You may also notice that certain opportunities lose their shine when you don't rush toward them. Offers that once felt exciting begin to feel hollow when examined slowly. This is not coincidence. Anything that collapses under patience was never built to last. God's guidance is consistent. It does not change with moods or pressure. It may ask you to stretch, but it will never ask you to abandon wisdom. When something is truly aligned with your path, it will still be there tomorrow. It will not demand immediate sacrifice of your peace. You are being taught to discern not just what looks good, but what feels right in your spirit. To recognize that peace is not the absence of challenge, but the presence of alignment. There may be moments ahead when you question yourself, when you wonder if you are being too cautious, too guarded, too distant. But remember this: discernment grows strongest after experience. You are not cautious without reason. You are responding to patterns your soul has learned to recognize. It is okay to protect your energy. It is okay to choose fewer, deeper connections. It is okay to move slowly even when others move fast. Your pace is not a flaw. It is part of your design. You are also learning that not every truth needs to be spoken. Not every realization requires confrontation. Sometimes, the wisest response is quiet withdrawal. When you remove yourself from situations that thrive on emotional reaction, you starve manipulation of its power. This is how you reclaim clarity. Not by forcing understanding, but by allowing space for insight to rise naturally. You may feel moments of grief as certain dynamics change. That grief is real. It comes from the hope you carried, the potential you imagined, the version of connection you wished could exist. Allow yourself to feel it without judgment. Grief does not mean you made the wrong choice. It means you cared deeply. But do not confuse grief with regret. You are not meant to go backward to ease discomfort. You are meant to move forward with wisdom. As you continue to honor your inner knowing, you will notice your confidence returning quietly, not loud, not forced, but steady. You will stop questioning every feeling. You will trust yourself again. This is where true freedom begins. When you no longer need external validation to confirm what your spirit already knows. When you stop asking for permission to protect your peace. God does not reveal everything at once. He reveals just enough for the next step. And right now, the next step is awareness, stillness, patience. You are not missing out. You are being preserved. What is meant for you will meet you where you are, not demand that you abandon yourself to reach it. As this clarity settles in, you may feel lighter without knowing exactly why. You may sleep more deeply, breathe more easily, smile without effort. These are signs of alignment returning. Trust this process. Trust what is being removed. Trust what is being delayed. Trust what is being clarified. You are not behind. You are right on time. Heaven is not rushing you because heaven sees the full picture. And as long as you remain willing to listen, to pause, to choose wisdom over impulse, you will continue to be guided away from what harms and toward what heals. This is not the end of the message. It is the deepening of it. What comes next will speak directly to how you move forward from here, how you protect what is being rebuilt within you, and how you recognize true alignment when it finally arrives. There was a season when you trusted too quickly, not because you were careless, but because you believed sincerity in others mirrored your own. You assumed good intentions because you carried them yourself. That innocence was not foolishness, it was purity. But purity without wisdom can be taken advantage of, and God never allows His children to remain unguarded forever. Growth requires experience, and experience sharpens discernment. Now you notice subtle cues you once ignored. The way words don't match actions. The way promises shift depending on convenience. The way your body tightens in certain conversations, even when the words sound right. These are not random reactions. Your spirit has learned a new language, one that communicates through sensation, energy, and inner response rather than logic alone. You may feel tempted to doubt yourself when others question your boundaries, when they say you've changed, when they suggest you're distant, guarded, or different. In truth, you have changed. You have grown. You have stopped pouring into places that leak, and not everyone benefits from that growth. There may be moments when old patterns try to pull you back. Familiar voices may reappear. Old opportunities may resurface with new promises. When that happens, do not rush to decide. Pause. Observe. Ask yourself not how it looks, but how it feels now. Growth changes perspective. What once tempted you may no longer fit. You are not meant to revisit every chapter. Some lessons are complete. Some doors remain closed not because you failed to open them, but because you outgrew what was behind them. As your discernment strengthens, you will notice a shift in your relationships. Conversations become more intentional. Connections become fewer but deeper. You stop oversharing. You stop seeking approval. You stop explaining your intuition to people who have no intention of understanding it. This is not coldness. This is clarity. You will also begin to recognize divine timing more clearly. You will feel when it is time to move and when it is time to wait. Waiting will no longer feel like punishment. It will feel like preparation. You will understand that stillness is not stagnation. It is alignment, settling into place. In moments of uncertainty, return to peace as your guide. Peace does not mean everything is easy. It means everything is honest. It means your spirit is not divided. It means you are not forcing yourself to accept what does not resonate. You are allowed to trust what feels calm, steady, and grounded, even if it arrives slowly. You are allowed to walk away from what feels intense, urgent, and draining, even if it promises quick reward. This season is also teaching you restraint. Not every thought needs to be spoken. Not every emotion needs to be shared. Not every reaction needs to be expressed. Power often grows in quiet. Strength often develops in restraint. You may notice that as you speak less, people reveal more. As you stop filling silence, truth surfaces. Silence creates space, and space invites authenticity. Those who thrive on manipulation fear silence because it removes their control. You are learning to let others show you who they are instead of telling you who they should be. This saves you energy. This saves you time. This saves you from confusion. There is also a deeper lesson unfolding. Discernment is not only about others, it is about honoring yourself. It is about respecting your limits, your needs, your rhythms. You are no longer forcing yourself to be available when you are depleted. You are no longer agreeing just to avoid discomfort. You are choosing integrity over approval. As you continue this path, you may feel moments of loneliness. Growth can feel isolating when old dynamics fall away before new ones arrive. But this space is temporary. It is a clearing, a preparation. Something new requires room to enter. You are not meant to carry everything alone, but you are meant to walk wisely. The right connections will not drain you. They will strengthen you. They will not rush you. They will respect your process. Pay attention to how your spirit responds when something truly aligned approaches. There will be no rush, no pressure, no inner conflict, just a quiet sense of rightness, a feeling of being grounded rather than pulled. This is how you will recognize what is really going.